Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you about how to save money for a house deposit really quickly. I'm going to talk you through the things that I've done so far to get myself set up and ready to buy a house. So in December I decided that I wanted to start saving money and I wanted to buy a house. So quite often I set myself some big life goals and usually I do achieve them. One of them was to become a teacher, and then I went to university a bit later on in life and then got my degree and then got my teaching certificate. So I'm quite willing to work hard towards my goals, and that's probably the best starting point, is to have some really good motivation as to why you want to save money. So for me it's I want to buy a house, so I need to save up a really good amount of a deposit. I'm also a single parent, so I know that the challenge is going to be that little bit harder because I will need a bigger deposit to be able to buy a 2-bedroom house in my area. So if you're wanting to buy a house, I highly recommend that you get yourself focused and find your motivation to get yourself started. So at this present point in time, the housing market is definitely a little bit scary for me. I've seen lots of properties go up by a good couple of tens of thousands of pounds in my area. So a 2-bed now is looking at about £220,000 approximately, which is an extortionate amount of money, but I'm hoping that it settles by the time that I'm ready to buy. So not only is the housing market a little bit chaotic at the minute, I also know that I'm not in a position right now to be able to buy, so I'm hoping by the time that I do get to buy a house in perhaps a year's time, when I've got a big enough deposit, hopefully the housing market will have settled a little bit and I'll be in a good position to buy. So the first thing that I did in December was really look at my budget. So I'm already somebody that works on a budget. I look at all my ingoings and outgoings, but I can honestly tell you I have no idea what I was spending a lot of money on. I still don't know. I've tried looking back and I can't work out what I was wasting my money on, but basically I can now save quite a good proportion of money towards a deposit each month now, and the reason I've been able to do that is because I've looked really carefully at what I've been spending, so I know exactly what's coming in. I've looked at all my bills, I've looked at where I can save money, so doing the comparison sites to be able to save money on energy, suppliers, and making sure that I'm on the best deal for a phone. So I only end up doing SIM-only contracts on a phone at the minute because my phone is pretty good. But if my phone ever breaks, then I know at least then I can get in a contract if I need it. But yeah, I just do a SIM-only contract. I reduced my Sky bill so that I wasn't paying as much. Because I wanted to leave and I'd been with them for 10 years, I ended up getting a really good deal and saved probably about £15 off my Sky bill with being able to keep it and keep some of the benefits of that, so that was really good. I also cut out any extra subscriptions, so cut out the movie channels and things like that. But I think what was most important was looking at where I was spending money. So knowing exactly what your set income is and knowing exactly what you do need to pay bill-wise, and then knowing what it is you've got left over. Then we'll look at that in a minute. My next step was to look at my debts. So these are anything like credit cards or overdrafts or hire purchase vehicles, or maybe you've got furniture or appliances that you've bought, anything like that. Have a look at which ones are charging you lots of interest and then decide to pay off them early. So for myself, I had a hire purchase car. It meant that when I could pay more than £500 in one go, I was able to save around £200 to £300 in interest because I had quite a long time still left on my car. It's just meant that I've saved a lot more money. So although it sounds weird to be paying off debt to be able to save, actually paying off my debt meant that I could be putting money towards savings earlier because I was paying less on the debt overall, which puts me in a much better position financially. It means that when it comes to applying for a mortgage, I know that I haven't got a huge hefty car payment coming out each month. I mean, for me it wasn't too hefty, it was about £90, but £90 is £90 and you need to put it towards other things. And when you are owning your own house, which I've never done before, I know that it's my responsibility to pay for anything that goes wrong. So I do not want to be having a situation where I have any debt or having any outgoings that I don't need in case I need to be able to pay for other things that go wrong in my house. It's about being prepared really, so setting yourself up for a good financial situation when you are ready to buy. The next thing I did was to open a LISA. This is a lifetime ISA. You can open them to be able to buy a house, or you can open one to be able to save for a pension. Once you've opened one and you use it for a house, you can keep it open and keep saving up until you're 50, and you will keep getting the bonuses. So the brilliant thing about the lifetime ISA is that you get a 25% bonus from the government. You can save up to £4,000 in a year, and they will give you £1,000 in your bonus. But you have to put it towards a house, so it has to be used for the deposit. You can only use one. So we used to be able to get Help to Buy ISAs. If you have already got one of those, you'd only be able to use one, either the Help to Buy ISA or the LISA. You can't use both to be able to do it unless you have one of each from a partner. But for me, I ended up closing my Help to Buy ISA because I found it was going to be more limiting than the lifetime ISA, which meant that I could keep it after and be able to continue saving for my pension as an extra pension pot. So you can only put £4,000 in, but once you've filled up your £4,000 of your entitlement, you've still got another £16,000 that you can be able to put into an ISA. So you can set up a separate ISA, which is totally okay to do, and put up to £16,000 in that one. As long as you don't go over £20,000 in total, say put into ISAs in a year, you're fine, that's your entitlement. But the bonus that you get from a lifetime ISA is really worthwhile, and you only have to have it open for a year before you can then use it. So even if you know that you want to buy something really soon, if you open a lifetime ISA as soon as you can save that £4,000 in each tax year and be able to get the bonus. So it's worth doing. The next thing I did was to cut unnecessary spend. So what I was talking about just now, when you look at your ingoings and outgoings, it's knowing what bit you have got left over after your bills. That is the bit that you need to look at really carefully now. That's the bit where you need to decide, what am I spending money on? Am I getting coffees or lunches because I'm not prepared? All those kind of things you need to look at, thinking about where are you spending the money and where could you save. So are you going out regularly for meals a couple of times a week? Could you cut it back to once a week or once every other week? Can you cut your morning coffee from the coffee shop and do your own takeaway coffee and do it yourself? Think about all the bits that you're spending money on. So I'm doing a no-buy year at the minute, but I am giving myself certain allowances. So for that, I give myself a £50 spend limit, and that is my money that I can official on different activities, or it pays for parking, or like a little trip out. That's allowed in my budget. I think it may be getting to the point where I'm struggling over the summer months, so I may have to stretch that to 100, but we'll see how we go. It just means that you have the opportunity to buy things, but the rest of your money can then go straight into savings. So as soon as I get paid, the money goes straight into the savings account. I don't even look at it, because then you're less likely to spend it because it's so much hassle trying to get it back. So it just means that you're able to, if you pay yourself first and then give yourself like a spend amount, you'll be in much better control of what you're doing. Try and cut anything out that you don't need to spend. Try not to do any takeaways. If you really want to save money fast, that is the quickest thing to do, is to cut any unnecessary spending. Just make sure that you are completely motivated and you remind yourself of your reason why. It'll be much easier to get going. And the final thing I did to be able to boost my income a little bit was to sell anything that I didn't want. So I've gone through my whole house and I've decluttered. I can leave some links up there. And it just means that I have freed up space. I've earned money in doing so, and every time I've earned some money, I've just put that straight into the savings account. I've just topped it up, or I've just put it towards the debt. It just means that I'm clearing everything out. I'm getting rid of anything that I know that I'm not going to want to keep longer term, and it just feels a bit freer. I just feel like I have more space, I have more control of what's going in and out, and it has helped me to appreciate the things that I've got a little bit more, so that I am seeing value in it. So in the last 6 months I managed to clear a good couple of £1,000s off of my car. I still got a little bit to go it technically ends in March. I've reduced the length of my hire purchase, but I think I will just keep going and plodding along with the payments for the minute and just start whacking more money into my savings account. I'm hoping to be able to buy in perhaps a year's time, so I need to get focused now. And in the 6 months I've managed to save £4,000 and I've got my 1,000 bonus as well. I feel like I've made really good progress in saving so far this year, and I just feel in a much more positive mindset about being able to achieve the goals. So I'm just trying not to look at the housing market at the minute and hoping that it settles, but it's definitely worth looking at all of those things that I've talked about, and it will get you into a much better financial position to be able to buy a house. I hope this has been helpful. Don't forget to like, it really helps for other people spotting, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to. So I do videos about minimalism, decluttering and self-care. I will speak to you soon. Take care, bye.